Hello guys, welcome to TNA Throwback, and we are doing this format again. I prefer this format because we can quickly see what happened on the last week's show instead of me recapping it. And I believe I'm losing a lot of time recapping every show and going through the motions again and again. I believe it's easier to just book the show in advance. I will show you what I have done with the show, and then the ideas and the storylines and where they build up to, and this way we will have the videos cut in time. We won't have like 25-minute videos because I'm not gonna be losing all my time booking and explaining live. Of course, I think the old format will be kept for the pay-per-view because it's easier to book a pay-per-view because it's like only matches. So for the next show where we will book the No Surrender pay-per-view, we will book it in live format. But right now I have booked the Go Home show. This is not the Go Home show. This is actually last week's show. I'm not gonna explain what happened last week's show. If you wanna, you can just pause the video, read the results quickly, or just if you have seen the last episode, you can have an idea of what was going on as far as storylines. The biggest takeaway from the show, I would say, is the main event. Sting defeated Kurt Angle to have the right to face Jeff Jarrett at the pay-per-view, because last few weeks the storyline was that Sting and Angle are kinda arguing following up their loss at Hardcore Justice to Beer Money, and they both want Jarrett because he's done so much bad things to them. So here was the decisive match, and Sting defeated Angle when Gunner costed Angle the match. There's no real explanation from Gunner to cost Angle the match, rather than a personal feud. And Gunner already defeated Angle, so I needed a reason here to have this match sort of end in a different finish. So let's move on. Right now, this is the Go Home show. So let's see what happened. Of course, we started the show with the recap, and the recap is a video package of what happened last week. And it's basically what I have already explained. So the show opened with Mr. Anderson and Jeff Hardy, and they came out for a contract signing for their Iron Man match. Bischoff handed them the papers, and they signed the papers. They had a stare down and they shook hands. So basically at this point in time, Anderson is already a babyface. I have decided to turn him, so at the pay-per-view we will have a babyface against babyface World Championship match. I turn Anderson because my next program, I need Anderson as a face. So whatever happens with him and the title, we will see what happens. So this is the match setup. So then we have Bischoff announcing that tonight's main event is an 8-man tag. We have the babyface Anderson, Hardy, Angle, and Sting teaming up against World Elite Jarrett, Gunner, Roode, and Storm. Then we have the usual cross feud tag team before the pay-per-view match, where Jay Leto is teaming with Austin Aries. And actually they have a history of teaming up together. As you guys remember, at the last pay-per-view they faced Styles and Daniels and lost. So they are teaming up here again because Jay is feuding with Robbie and Austin Aries is feuding with Kazarian. So this is a usual tag match before a pay-per-view. Lita will pin Robbie E and they will win the match. Then Sting will cut a promo on Jarrett. He'll try to hype up their match, and the stipulation for the match is an ultimate submission match. So I really didn't find much time to announce a stipulation earlier, and since it's a no surrender pay-per-view, I believe it would be easier to have an ultimate submission match. It sounds cool to a degree. Then we have Kurt Angle interrupting Sting, but he actually wished Sting luck, so I guess the beef between them is done. There wasn't really any beef between Angle and Sting. They were just arguing about who will face Jarrett. And Angle then is gonna move on to cutting a promo on Gunner. since they are also booked in a match. Gunnar costed Angle the match. I believe it's gonna be a street fight. Then we have RVD beating Chris Sabin in a showcase match, since Aries and Kazarian are already in the tag match, and you already know that at the pay-per-view it's a three-way for the X title, so I needed a match to promote RVD even more. Then we had the backstage segment with Ray pretty much seeing Devon, Brother Devon chatting with Dinero. I'm running this angle for a few weeks now. Devon will say that it's no problem. Dinero has been bothering him, but they need to focus on Styles and Daniels, because at the pay-per-view it's gonna be both of those tag teams facing for the tag team titles. So it's gonna be interesting. Obviously, Dinero is trying to acquire Devon for his congregation project, and we'll see what happens here. So the next thing is gonna be the British Invasion beating Douglas Williamson, Sheikh Abdul Bashir, with Magnus getting the pin. Moving on, Velvet and Desmacher defeated Angelina and Taryn Terrell when Velvet pinned Terrell. A little bit of momentum for Velvet. She will face Angelina for the title with the pay-per-view. Then we have Jared Cunningham promo on Sting and saying he's gonna outsmart him again. And Jared is gonna be shown motivating World Elite for their 8-man tag tonight. Then Gunnar will cut the promo. Angle, he's gonna say that he already beat him once. This was, I believe, when he joined World Elite. It was, I believe, a last man standing match. So the next thing on the show is gonna be a Beast beating Samoa Joe when Jordan and Creed, which are Dinero's goons, distract Joe. After the match, Joe is gonna be pissed off and he's gonna cut the promo on Dinero. He's gonna say that after at No Surrender, he's putting an end to his BS following, cult following BS. So then we'll have a video hyping the return of Gail Kim. It's gonna be next week. Styles and Daniels are gonna defeat Generation Me in a tag match to gain more momentum into the pay-per-view. Team 3D will observe from ringside. After the match, both teams are gonna have a stare down. 3D will offer a handshake, as you know they're the baby faces, but they'll get turned down. Before the main event, Angle and Sting are gonna be they're not gonna wanna trust Anderson, who recently changed his behavior. You know, he recently turned babyface. It was kind of a slow progress, but Hardy will be there and change their mind. So this is gonna be a nice little backstage segment. And in the main event, the babyfaces are gonna prevail. Hardy will pin Storm. Since Beer Money doesn't really have a pay-per-view match, we need to protect Jarrett and Gunnar, and I believe it's gonna be better for the babyfaces to win the match. After the match, Sting will chase Jarrett off, while Angle will remain in the ring and he'll get beat up by Gunnar and Beer Money. He'll get triple teamed. So we'll assume that Anderson and Hardy are just not gonna be there. They're gonna probably have a final stare down, or you know, the usual go home stuff. So this was the go home show. I believe this format is way better because I can concentrate and I can explain the angles and the matches much better. So of course we move on, and we are at the No Surrender pay-per-view, which will be booked in the next episode. And of course, after No Surrender, we began the road to Bound for Glory, which is on 10-10-10. And I have a lot of interesting stuff for you guys, so I believe whoever is watching me is enjoying what kind of storylines I put together, or you know. And I'm doing this for my enjoyment also, because I love booking wrestling and kind of making my own angles, since WWE in the recent times kind of sucks. So guess we need to find our own groove. So yeah, I'm actually in front of WWE right now. As you can see, the game has been on since January 1st and we are on September 12th, so this is around 9 months. I started at National, I started with the original roster. But I have already told you guys that WWE doesn't interest me as far as the workers. I'm only interested in my own workers as far as TNA goes. I don't wanna steal WWE's guys, even though guys like John Cena are ready to be picked up. But the point here is to book a TNA game with the TNA guys, kind of have a reality in this. I don't wanna get guys like John Cena or Randy Orton or Rey Mysterio or CM Punk or guys that have never been in TNA. Maybe down the line, if I get bored, I may do it, but I think all the guys I have are here, all the guys I want to book, the potential is here, so I don't really need a lot of more star power. I even released Hulk Hogan, so here's the show for now, so we'll see each other on the next episode when I'm booking the pay-per-view, and I have already told you guys I'm gonna book it in real time, so you're gonna see how the matches are played off. Because when I'm, on the TV, I can explain the angles of the matches since they're always following some sort of a progression, but at the pay-per-view I think it's better to book the pay-per-view because it's already like 7 or 8 matches, so it takes like 10 minutes anyway. The TV takes 20 minutes in the old format, so this is gonna be way more compressed and I believe way better. So bye for now.